One small thing can make the biggest difference if you take it away.
So the big question is, what are top agents doing to absolutely crush it in real estate, grow their teams and add more transactions year over year while so many struggle? To get the answers, we interview the top real estate agents to learn their secrets to success. My name is Andrew Dunn.
And my name is Peter Michael. Welcome to Lead Agent Secrets.
So with that being said, I am assuming you didn't learn this all yourself. Now, you are obviously a smart individual, so on the $100 million, but I'm assuming it didn't just come out of nowhere. So your second topic is, I imagine, how you learned so much so quickly and got so much success, which is why coaching is crucial to your success. So unpack why that is your second secret to success.
Oh, I think one of the core values for my team is education, right? And it would be foolish of me to have a core value that I didn't put into practice myself. And so I just think, like, if you want to get to the next level, the easiest way to do is just pay to play. I've always agreed with that. That's kind of why when I originally came to my brokerage, everyone was like, why would you go there if the splits are lower than 100%? And I'm like, because I'm going to get a shit ton of business. And I'm going to just skyrocket and just leapfrog. And yeah, I'm going to have to take a lower split like early in my career, but it's going to build a great book of business. And I'm going to get all that repeat and referral business down the line. And so I've always been a big proponent of just like pay to get ahead. And I think coaching is the secret sauce for a lot of people, and people are so like guarded with their money, and I don't understand why they're so guarded with their money, because the best investment that you can get, you can guarantee yourself a return if you invest in yourself and you actually do the work. Like there's just no question about it. And so I think that's what coaching is for me. It's like, it is the secret sauce, because you're paying to get into a room with somebody who's smarter than you. And half the time the coaching is just accountability. Like, hey, did you actually just do the shit that you said you were going to do? And you're like, no. And they're like, do it. And then next week you actually do it and you're like, oh my God, the results were amazing. Thanks for holding me accountable. Right. So I think, it's like, you pick up little things from people along the way, and sometimes the smallest thing can have the biggest impact in your business.
This is so true. So with our coaching, this is what we talk about. We're like, listen, you could probably go online, learn everything, the ads and everything we're going to show you. Like, there's stuff out there, you could figure it out if you want to spend the time. Like, you're going to spend a lot more time. But what coaching really is, and what coming on board with us really is accountability. AKA, you turn up to that call every week and you haven't done it, like, we're going to shout at you.
100%.
Like this is really what coaching is about. Now, something you touched on there, it's like, this is the shortcut. I am a huge lover and believer in coaching, like massive. In fact, so much so, I've just paid for basically one of the best YouTube coaches in the world to coach me, because I'm trying to blow up my own YouTube channel as well, and my own personal brand more so than it is. And it's like, I've done work on it. Like, I've gone out and done my own bits and stuff as well. And then I just, it was like 2 weeks ago, I got to the point I was like, I can carry on doing this. Like, I've done a lot of work right now, or I could just go and pay a guy that he's done 54 billion views, just for perspective for everyone, like how big this guy is, right? And I was like, or I could just go and pay him a chunk of money, and in the next 12 weeks, I will learn more than what I could probably come up with in the next year. And like, 100%. And I'm not a stupid guy as well, but I'm like, I just want to fast track this, right? And we're now into it, and we were chatting last week or the beginning of this week, right? And I just had the biggest aha moment, right? And he was like, everything I tell you, you probably already know, but I'm going to glue it together so you understand why it makes sense. And so then you can go out and do it over and over and over again. It's not a chance. And and he showed me this example, and I was just like, holy fuck, this all makes sense. Like, because it's all there, but you don't know how the pieces interact.
Work together. Yeah. And it's the same thing for like anything in life.
Right.
You can Google anything and you can find all the pieces, but what order to put them in is that's the secret sauce. Right. And it's sometimes like, you think you're working on the right thing and you're like, I know I need to improve here. And it's like, no. You do need to improve here. But in order for you to improve here, it's actually this, and you haven't seen that yet. And you're like, damn. There was I was so pigeonhole focused on this thing and getting better at that I just could have fixed this and this would have been way better for me. Right.
Yeah.
So I think coaching puts a second set of eyes, and it also sometimes explains the exact same thing in a different language to you somehow. And something hits different. You know what I mean?
100%. Now I want to talk about your coaching specifically with regards what you went through, just because I know who it was and I love this woman. She's a rock star. But what I want to just give perspective on is how much of your volume would you put towards having that coaching? Like, how many of your transactions would you say were a direct outcome of this coaching that I've had and what I got from the coaching?
It's a tough thing to say because I've had different mentors at different times in my career. Yeah. Right. And so, the first mentor that I had was our broker of record at our brokerage that kind of helped me get to a certain level. And then I hired an outside coach, and I realized with that person, they helped me get one really big transaction. Like literally, this is why I think coaching is crazy. The coach wasn't even that great. I'm not going to say who it was, but didn't have a great experience. But they did tell me one thing that landed me one massive transaction and paid for their coaching like 10 times over. Right. So it's like one small thing can make the biggest difference if you take it away. And then from there, so with that person, I'd say, well, they only got me one deal. But the deal was so big that it got an amazing return on their coaching, even though their coaching wasn't that great. They just made me see something in a different light one time. Right. And then I would say with my current coach, who's just the absolute best and just an amazing human being. There's like, I guess a lot of transactions that I could immediately say, and I've only been with her for maybe 6 months or something like that. So it hasn't been like a huge long-term commitment so far. It will be, but what I can see is like, she's built my foundation of my business and my team for all of my deals that are going to come in the future.
That's huge, right? Because
it's a different mindset thing, because my coaches up to this point have gotten my production to a certain level, right? And now it's not about me anymore. It's about making sure that my guys are successful, because if they have success, then so will I. And what this coach did was said, like, you're good. Like you put 7 figures on the board by yourself. Let's let other people take a little bit of that off your plate for you. And let's build the foundation so that all of your transactions going forward that I help you with are 100% based on the systems that she taught me.
Yeah, it's an all
which is a big differentiator, right? Because that's how you almost like multiply yourself. That's how, Emma can be in 15 places at once. That's how Emma can have more leverage. That's how Emma gets more time back. And
that's how it's like, ultimately more clients, and we actually help people get more homes. Like, it's how can I win, but it's like actually our clients win because I'm training agents to be better agents, to be able to do more transactions and to help them get into homes. So it's like I inevitably win as a result of all of that, but like the community and people that we're able to get into homes actually win the most, because now we're able to duplicate the services.
Do more. You just built huge amounts of leverage in your business, and you help more people. You help more of your team. They make more money. Their families are happier. Like, there is so much. It's actually the making more money in real estate through a team is basically the least, like the most selfless thing you can do. Like the least selfish, because everyone's making more money, families are happier. It's just an amazing thing, and people don't see it like that, and they really should. And I think also for our listeners, like, you've just got to take this away, what Emma said, when it's like, this current coach has built the foundations for every transaction moving forward, and it's going to allow her to basically step away. And like, you're essentially building an asset that you can walk away from that could pay you for however many years going forward, potentially sell depending on how you built it. And it's like, I think for a lot of mega agents, especially a lot of the guests on our show, these are the things that they're working towards. It's like, I got to exit at some point, but that it's that business mindset where like I'm building really fucking good foundations. Like that's a core focus, is like monumentally strong foundations of this business, because everything else I can build on good bones. But if foundations are sand, you're fucked. Totally. Like everything else after that is done. It makes no difference, right? But if you got that solid ass concrete rock base there, and it's just like irrespective, this is always gonna be solid. It's like, well, you've got something that's worth a lot, because like that's something that very few people actually have. A lot of people think they have it, and then when it starts to crumble, they realize it was a better sand, you know? And
I'll tell you, like, what I've realized from this whole thing, as you know, someone who has a personality of being a team leader, it's just like you're just a different type of human. You know what I mean? Because you go from being a real estate salesperson to now owning a business and being a leader, and they're two completely different skill sets. They're just not the same thing. And as you know, we're humans and we want things immediately. That's why, like, if something from Amazon doesn't get shipped same day, we like fucking freak out. Right. And so when you're building a business, it's really difficult, because sometimes you feel like I'm taking 3 steps back, and I'm really having a hard time understanding how these 3 steps back are going to propel me 15 steps forward. Because you're just like, I want the 15 steps now. And that's one of my biggest struggles and challenges that I have right now, is I'm like, I have to kind of remove myself. I'm not removing myself from production, but I have to slow myself down on production so that I can build this base. And I just have to trust in the process that, like, my business is going to go like this. And I'm already starting to see the dividends and the returns on that. But when you're in the moment,
it's hard.
It's really hard to accept.
Yeah.
So I got one question from you, or I should say for you. You said your individual coaches got your individual production up.
Yeah.
And then the current coach, you're saying that they got the team's production up, which ultimately is also a big win for you.
Yeah.
What were the biggest differences between getting your individual production up versus getting your team's production up?
Putting the right people in the right seats, and making sure that, like, finding the right people is critical. And I think people think like growing a business and like having a real estate team is like, it's so sexy. Like, I manage these people. And then you realize, like, fuck, man, managing people is actually like way harder than selling real estate. So way much harder. Right. Because like I said, it's a completely different skill set, and like, you're kind of new at it. And so I think with this coach, they were like, okay, you know what you're doing selling real estate. Like, there's not really much else we can tell you about you selling real estate. What we need to teach you is, how do you find the right people? And then what are the systems and processes that you need to put into place to make sure that you're letting those people shine? Because, you know, like, one thing that they make us do is like a Colby assessment for all of our employees. And it's like, well, shit, I didn't even think about that. And it's like, but now I know my employees and how I should manage them appropriately, and what makes them tick, and what their, you know, what their strengths are, and like what their weaknesses are, so that I can be a more understanding leader and accept these things and change my management style so that they feel like embraced and that they're having a good employee experience.
Oh, and by the way, if you're interested in gaining access to our course and coaching programs, then head over to go.eliteagentsecrets.com.